Well, the new album, Divided by Tyrants, has just been released. It's just been released yesterday, in fact. It was a very short wait in between this and Disaster, Destruction, and After. Um, what do you think the main differences are between Divided by Tyrants and the previous record?
Well, the last record was actually 5 years old, but it just went on to the digital platform a year ago.
Oh,
So
I see.
yeah, we were kind of waiting. We had a deal with a record label and it didn't quite go through. So we ended up putting that up last year. So we actually spent about 5 years writing this record. And through the process, we wrote 70 songs and we threw away 59 of them. And we kept the 11 that are on this record. I'd say the biggest differences are just really where we were at, you
Mm.
know, and what we've gone through in that period of time has been pretty significant. And I think you can hear it really in the songs.
Yeah, I mean, I was just listening to a couple of the tracks on Spotify just now to get a taste of the album, and it's a very refined album. You know, everyone's really clearly put a lot of work into it and kind of streamlined it into the best kind possible song they can make it. I think it shows quite clearly. Uh,
Yeah, and that's it too. Is just we wanted to make sure that every song was as perfect as we could make it, and
mm,
some of the ones we threw away were heartbreakers. You know, some of the songs were really good, but it was just this wasn't vibing or this wasn't vibing. And I feel like there was two songs that had like by far the best like guitar riffs on it and whatever. But in the end, we did what we had to do for the best songs, and it was
yeah,
an interesting process. You know, you get married to songs as you write. Oh, I really like this song, and all of us had to kind of just step back and say, no, that's not the one. You know.
yeah. And have those been just permanently deleted, or are you keeping hold of those? You might come back to those another time.
I have, well, they span across two computers. I have a second computer that before the one I got, and it has about 20 on it. And then, we figure roughly about 50 that we worked on this one. Some of them were half songs, it just depended on how far it progressed. But
Yeah.
I like, we're going to keep moving forward and not go backwards. So it's tough to say if they will ever see the time of day or not.
Mm, yeah. It doesn't hurt to have them though. I mean, like, I think Tony Iommi's got like boxes of riffs that he's recorded over the years and just picks one out every now and then. So
Yeah.
yeah. Let's talk about the album itself. Where does the title come from?
Well, I just think here in America right now, we've got a lot of political issues, and I'm not a political person. I'm not a fan of anybody who tells me what to do or how to live my life personally. But everybody's kind of split paths, and it's as somebody who's in between, I try to look at things as well. That's a lie. That's right, or whatever. Not totally go one way or the other. But I think right now is the craziest thing we've ever seen in our lives with the virus, and then all the madness going on. And I felt like we have this song called Violence, and we were just trying to think of the album name and trying to think of the album name, and one of the lines in there is divided by the tyrants,
Mm.
and it just like that's perfect. That's exactly it. So
Yeah, it's a perfect title to release on election week.
yeah, well, we kind of fought to release the record too because who knows what's going to happen. I was like, I didn't work on this album for 5 years. Nobody's ever going to hear it. So we were like, it's got to come out before the election. So we went into overdrive. And
Yeah,
I mean, right now I've barely slept in like 4 months. So
bloody hell. But I think that message shows quite clearly in the artwork as well. It's a really nice front cover, and like I'm still kind of examining it a little bit. But it is cool, you can see that faint outline of Old Glory, and it's more blue on one side and red on the other, that kind of thing. But it's subtle, it's not like having an elephant and a donkey like in a boxing match or something like that. It's so I think that's pretty
well,
cool. How much input did the band have with the artwork?
not a lot. I mean, the name really spoke for itself. And our friend Isabel, she She's been working just as hard as we have over the last little while. I mean, she's the one on our YouTube. They actually launched today all those lyric videos. So the whole album is up in lyric videos, except for the one that has our music video. We haven't put that one out yet, but I mean, she worked on those. She did the album cover. She's just been handling a lot of that. She's been grinding on all that stuff while we've been grinding on this. So it's been nice to have her. And I mean, she did a phenomenal job for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, like you mentioned there, you've also got the music video up now for The Star I'll Become. And it's very special, you know. Obviously, at the moment, bands can't really um, get together to make like high concept mini movies or anything like that. But you know, it still shows your harder work and that kind of thing. Plus, of course, it has a guest appearance from Robby Lochner himself, Great White, or Jack Russell's Great White. I don't want to get into legal territories.
Yeah, he used to play with Rob Halford from Judas Priest and fight for a while too. And he's from Tucson, Arizona, where we're from. You know, he hasn't lived here for a while, but he and I have been talking for quite several years now. And, you know, he hit me up late at night. And ironically enough, we had been in here in the studio we knew we had to write a couple more songs. And we had half of that one written. And I went in the house about 3 o'clock in the morning and started chatting with him on Facebook. He's like, "Man, can I rip a lead on one?" And I was like, "Yeah." So I sent him the track. I'd say like 2 or 3 days later, he sent me the solo, and I was like, "Oh my god, that guy is just." I mean, he's such a class act. He's such a good dude. He's such an inspiration. Just being, you know, we don't have a lot of industry things going on here in Tucson, so the fact that he was able to get out and, you know, do the things he's done, and he's just such a phenomenal player. If you haven't looked him up, look up Robby Lochner piano style on YouTube, and just be prepared to have your mind blown by that guy. He is just so good, like literally the best.
I mean, his solo on The Star I'll Become itself was mind blowing, let alone anything more. But,
Yeah, and that was cool. So we had everything but that middle part. So we were like, I hit him up and we collaborated a little bit, and he gave me a little bit of feedback, and we threw together the middle. And like I said, 2 days later, he sent me that, and I was just like, wow, what the? So it's done good for us, and he's been helping us out a lot. I mean, I can't say things about the guy, to be honest with you.
no, good. And I mean, I know previously some of your albums have been released through labels. I was trying to find out information on Divided by Tyrants. Is this a self-released album?
Yes, we're doing it all ourselves. I mean, we wrote it. There's no ghostwriters, you know, there's no producers. We wrote it, we produced it, we recorded it, we mixed it, we mastered it. You know, it was kind of pretty important to us this time that we did it for us first and foremost, that we wrote the best songs that we could write, but that also we did it for, you know, the group of fans, you know, friends, the people who have supported us. You know, we've been a band for 11 years, and I've been doing it for 23 years throughout the course of several bands. And, you know, there's been people who have been following me and, you know, supporting me and buying my merch and whatever to try and help me out for that entire time. So we wanted to focus there at first and take our time and just make sure we took care of the people who took care of us. And to be honest with you, up until the point that we put that video out, I was just kind of like, cool, this is for us. I don't care what happens. I don't care what people think. And then the video came out, and I saw everybody's reaction, and we got picked up for some FM radio play. And, you know, there's been some good little developments happening. And so we're just kind of hoping for the best now. We're trying to push the record ourselves and just hope for the best, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's been all over my Facebook today, more or less. So you're very clearly working very hard to get this album pushed as much as possible. And I think having it self-released, it's perhaps it kind of drives you all the more because this really is your baby. No, you answer to no one for this time. Not that A Fall to Break was ever like a record label's whipping boy or anything like that, but
Yeah, well, I think too, like this time with everything going on, I was thinking about it, and I'm like, what do you need? What do you need them for right now? I mean, all the people who are out there working, and all those people, like they're not really working. The whole concert industry is not working. Everything's not working, and
Mm,
it's like if right now is probably I've noticed everybody's had a lot of time, with quarantine and all these things, and I think it's kind of gone back to a grassroots element of people helping out of the kindness of their heart because they want to see you succeed or they believe in you. And I've
mm,
noticed this release, there's been a lot more of that than previous releases. You get in with labels and all the way down. Everybody thinks they know how you have to do it, and you try to
mm.
do that, but at the same time, you have to maintain some of what your vision is, and it's really tough. And I think right now, this is the perfect shot for anybody who makes music to, you don't have to play shows, you don't have to tour right now, you don't have to do any of those things. You can just release music, focus on that, and people are at home a lot. They have time to listen to music. It seems like just a lot more support going on right now, and I think I don't want to say we're going to use that to our advantage, but at the same time, I don't see a purpose in needing a label. We did have some small labels reach out and whatever. No offense to anybody, but I think we just wanted to take the bull by the horns and see how well we could do with it and see what opportunities came for us based upon what we did before, even. So
Yeah,
far, it's been
cool. Like you say, it really is the perfect time to do it. And it's funny, with something so devastating as the pandemic, there seems to be an awful lot of bands I've spoken to recently who are really looking on the positive side of it, and seeing it as the opportunity to promote their albums as much as possible. Everything from everyone from yourselves to um, who was like Dark Tranquility and My Dying Bride, a few others that I've spoken to recently that have got new releases, and they just go, yeah, well, we got all the time in the world to do it now. So it's kind of strange, that something so negative can really give musicians a positive spin, even if there's nowhere to play.
Yeah, well, I mean, it kind of, even when the virus first dropped, and it was like, bam, it hit, and it's like we'd been working on this record already for 4 years and some change, and it's like,
Yeah.
are we gonna stop or what are we gonna do? And we just decided we were gonna keep going and keep working on it, and I think that it's just, I think music is gonna be better, because when it's all said and done, music is the one thing that everybody has in common in one way, shape, or form, even if it's not the same style. Most people like something. I think I've met like two people in my life who said they hate music, but it's a good chance. I think the quality of music is going to get better because the intent is going to be there. It's not like bands being on these album cycles where they have to get out and tour, or they're not going to make any money, or the whole business of it. I think it's going to be a change in the atmosphere because everybody misses it so much, and there's a lot of greed and there's a lot of corruption and there's a lot of favoritism and there's a lot of things. If you there's so much that goes into actually getting a shot,
Mm.
and I think right now those restrictions are all off the table, and I'm really hoping that a lot of bands, bands on labels and independent bands, I'm hoping that everybody can reap the benefits of that, and hopefully it leads us into a new direction with music and musicians and bands and the way they're treated
Yeah,
and the way they're paid and the way everything is. It's a game changer. I think this is going to change a lot of things.
absolutely. It's like a brand new playing field, so to speak. So,
Yeah.
um, obviously, you as one of the founding members of the Fall to Break, have played on every album and done every show, and you've seen how much the band has progressed over time. Comparing Divided by Tyrants to the early days of the band, how far would you say the band has come?
It's crazy, man, because the band was kind of a fluke how it happened anyway. And in 2009, we started kind of forming. In 2010, we put out our first record, and we wrote and recorded, put the record out, and had CDs within a 6-week period. So we wrote, I forget how many songs are on it, 12, 13 songs or whatever. And we laid it all down, recorded it, everything done, 6 weeks. And the CDs showed up the day of our CD release party. So it was a great record because we had so much ambition, as far as the production and everything. We were young into the game. I mean, it sounded good for the time and for being independent, but we had a lot to learn. And then, to be honest with you, we kind of hit it down. We had a lot of things happen that changed our direction, and it just didn't work for us for a couple records, And I think when we did Disaster, we did that with Matt Good up in Phoenix. And I mean, he's just an incredibly talented guy, extremely creative guy. And he got us in order. He got us back on track and then put us even further on track. And we went and we toured and we did a lot of stuff. And, we hit parts of the country we had never been to. And it was really successful for us. But, I mean, from the beginning till now, our original drummer ended up dying. He wasn't actually in the band when he died, but it's just the changes, we changed guys. It's only me and the singer left at this point from the original, version of the band. But we've made a lot of progress, I think, in the changes we made. Eventually, they made us better and they made us stronger. So it's just living through all that and getting a good group of guys together. And it's been a crazy ride, man. The biggest change, I think, is just the maturity and the knowledge of songwriting and production and doing it ourselves and getting at least close to a label quality recording,
Yeah. Well, like I say, it's the Divided by Tyrants. It sounds great. So it sounds as good as anything on any labels. So.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Like I'm the one who mixed it, and that's also another big push. Another part of it for me personally is just the recording part and the mixing part, and trying to make sure that it stands up and I stand up. So it was good when I heard it and it just sounded massive, and I was like, the kick drums just beating you up, and I was like, all right, cool, we got a product. And so far everybody's been, those are the comments we're hearing. The production is great, the songs are well written, vocals are amazing, lyrics are make you think, and I think we have all the tools there to have a successful record. It's just hopefully it just keeps reaching out and keeps going. It's tough, they want you to pay for everything these days. So the promotion, and we're trying to stay away from a lot of that, a lot of the pay play stuff. A little bit of marketing is good, but right now we're seeing how far it goes on its own.
Yeah. Cool. Well, Craig, thank you so much for speaking to me tonight. I really do appreciate it, mate. And best of luck with the album. I mean that very sincerely.
Thank you, man. We appreciate you taking the time, and best of luck with what you're doing, and we really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, mate. Good night.
You too.